Here's a recipe for a casserole that my family just loves, and so I want to go ahead and share this with you so you can give it a try. Here are the ingredients if you'd like to jot them down, but I'll also leave them below the video in the description area if you'd like to copy those to your computer. So we'll go ahead and start by using some Chipotle peppers. You can find those usually in the little Mexican area of your grocery store. I'm using 2 because my family likes heat, but these are very hot, so be careful with them, alright? We'll blend those up in 1 cup of milk. I find it easy to just use my stick blender in a mason jar, and then go ahead and add your other cup of milk to that as well. Now I'm going to grate in a jalapeno pepper in with my sweet peppers because I happen to have one in my freezer from the summer's harvest, but that's optional, completely optional. So let's get our onions and peppers cooking in a little bit of oil, and we'll sprinkle them with a little salt too to kind of release that moisture, and after about 10 or 15 minutes they should take on a nice color. I'm going to reserve just a few for later in the week for omelets and such. Now I'm going to go ahead and melt my butter, and I'll add a little bit of flour to this, whisk it in, and I want to get that flour cooking for about a minute just to kind of take away that flour paste taste. And now I'll slowly add in my milk that had the pepper in it, okay? And just slowly whisk it and keep it nice and thick. And now we'll go ahead and add our garlic, and I can whisk that in as well. I'll also go ahead and add the cream cheese, and I'll let that melt in. Okay, so add your beans and your corn, and after that's been mixed in pretty good, you can go ahead and add your chicken. Now this is chicken that I cooked earlier in the week. When I stewed a chicken, I made some stock, and I'll leave a link at the end of the video so that you can see how I did that if you missed that video. Now go ahead and shred up your chicken really good. We don't want big chunks of chicken in here, so just kind of break it apart with a fork. And your filling should be nice and thick. It shouldn't be runny. It should look a lot like this, and if it's not thick like this, just kind of let it reduce slowly until it thickens up, okay? So now we'll go ahead and get our casserole dish ready, and I'm using I think it's like a 9 by 13. Put a little milk in the bottom, and take your flour tortillas, and we're just going to fill them up. And we're using the milk now because we want this to stay nice and moist. This is more of a casserole. It's not really a burrito. Just put those seams side down once you filled them, and I can usually put about 5 in here, and any extra filling I'll just kind of put it right there on the edge. Top it with a tiny bit more milk, and then some Monteray Jack cheese. Put a little bit of smoked paprika right there on top, and we're going to give it a good cover. I'm going to pop this in the oven that I've had preheated at 375, and I'm going to let it cook for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes I can remove it, and I'll also take off the foil and put it back in the oven for about another 10 minutes where it can just dry out just a tiny bit and brown on top a little bit more. Let it cool off about 10 minutes at least because it is piping hot when it comes out of the oven, but it is so good. We like to serve it with a little bit of salsa on top, maybe some green onions and cilantro, and then some of us like sour cream on it too. It just makes it really good. Don't expect that they will always come out of the pan intact, so you can always just cut them into squares and serve it that way. I mean, this is more of a casserole like I mentioned, and they are just delicious. So I hope that you can give it a try. I'd also like to invite you to head on over to my YouTube channel where you can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also feel free to follow me over there on Google+. I am only on Google+ and YouTube, so I like to share other things over there on my Google+ page. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.